broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Let's just let it play for a second, guys.
Sleepy Hollow.
It's
Drink in that music, guys.
Oh, man.
While you can.
Because you may or may not hear it again. Guys, thank you for tuning in. This is the AfterBuzz TV After Show here for Sleepy Hollow, Season 2, Episode 18, Tempest Fugit. Tempest Fugit.
Which means...
Fugit?
Means
Tempest Fugi?
Time
flies.
Time flies.
Time flies. I'm going to say right off the bat that I love the episode, but before I do that, guys, if you haven't already, go to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. You can watch live right now if you happen to be tuning in. Then you heard that. But otherwise, be sure to subscribe to all of our other shows. We do over it's up to 100 shows a week here. We got another network called Popcorn Talk, which I'm leading, doing a bunch of new shows on there. So if you like movies, we talk about movies there. And hit us up on iTunes and SoundCloud, as this is potentially the last podcast for Sleepy Hollow on AfterBuzz TV. You need to go to iTunes, you need to rate us 5 stars, and you need to leave a comment. And if you leave a comment, I will with your Twitter handle, I will shoot you a tweet on Twitter with maybe something funny in it.
You should also tweet
He'll think it's funny.
#Renew Sleepy Hollow.
I'll think it's funny. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah,
but anyway,
I mean, the reviews are a big deal, and we'll get to those later. But they will help the show potentially get renewed because they pay attention to that stuff.
They do, and a lot of the people listen to the podcast. Guys, I'm Stephen Lemieux. You can find me on Twitter @Stephen Lemieux. Be sure to tweet me throughout the show or join me in the chat roll. If you tweet out the tweet, quote unquote, join us live now for the Sleepy Hollow After Show, ABTV Sleepy, #ABTV Sleepy. With the link, I will give you a shout out live on the show. So I'll be looking at that hashtag throughout the show. But joining me tonight are my co-hosts, Jacque Borowski.
Hi, @123Jackie_B.
And as always, my right-hand man, we have Zach Wilson.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in.
And you can find him at that Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. At that Zach Wilson.
Yep, that's me on that one.
I need a tablet.
All right, first thoughts, guys.
Okay, this was probably the best episode this season.
Yes. Well,
I'm trying to remember all of the ones from the first half.
Can we count this one with last one? This is kind of a two-parter.
yeah, it was a two-parter. I feel like it was a two-parter.
And I feel like if every story was 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 episodes and was as strongly written as these two,
and as captivating,
I would love to see season 3, season 4, and all that. Because for the last 3 weeks, I have been interested, and I have been looking forward to Sleepy Hollow.
I was looking forward to tonight. I mean, the being sent back in time storyline. Did it go perfectly exactly how I wanted? No, but I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I was like, I wanted to know what was happening. I was engaged. I wasn't angry at any times at the show.
I was having fun.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
I had that feeling I had, that Sleepy Hollow Season 1 feeling when you're watching a show and you're like, I'm just having a really good time right now. And I kind of don't even want to take notes because I'm having such a good time.
That's how I was. I was watching this episode and I was like, yay,
yeah.
Frankenstein.
It was just good.
We get Headless back.
Yeah.
Look, that guy died.
It was a bunch of shout outs to, I think it was just like a fan letter to the fans.
Pretty much, yeah. And before we dive into the episode, I do want to just mention a few things. Let's do it this way. Let's ask ourselves, do we think that they're going to get renewed, and say why, and then we'll go through the episode, and then at the end we'll ask the same question to see if we've changed our minds at all.
All right.
So my argument is, I would love for Sleepy Hollow Season 3. If this is the pace we're going, I would love for it. But this episode felt like a goodbye. It felt like a series finale, and I'll tell you why. My 2 reasons for that are, they could have kept Katrina alive at the end, and they didn't. They could have kept. They could have turned the entire town into witches at the end before she died, but they didn't. And when we have the scene with Grace in the past, where Abby is talking about the book, and she's like, "Oh, all those pages are blank." It's like, "No, sweetie, those are the most important pages of all. Those are the ones you write." That reminds me of Lord of the Rings, kind of, with like The Hobbit, with "Oh, I left the last pages for you." Like it feels like you have so much more to this story, but that's just going to be left to your imagination. And it felt like that was a goodbye to the fans for the story, where they have to just imagine that these characters are still moving onward and writing their own pages.
Jackie?
I'm going to use the B word, Buffy. At the end of season 5 of Buffy, Buffy was originally on the WB and now defunct channel. And they didn't know if it was going to get renewed on a different channel or just be done with forever. So they did the same thing. They did kind of a very final ending. And it got picked up again on UPN. Is that what the channel is?
Yeah, it was on UPN for a while before they combined into one.
Yeah, so
CW.
I not that I see the Sleepy Hollow changing channels by any means, because the point has been made that it's not like Fox has a lot of other great entertainment going on right now. But I do see where they did the same kind of thing, where they're like, hey, if it gets renewed, we said that there are plenty of more stories to tell, and we gave you this love note with all of your 4 favorite characters here in one room, the Fab Four. So if it gets renewed, we have something to look forward to. But if it doesn't, we're giving you a satisfying ending.
Yeah, this felt like a very. I don't say safe in like a safe story-wise way, but it was a safe ending in the sense that they clearly don't have a good idea if they're coming back, especially when they made this episode, which is however many weeks ago that they wrote it, and months ago that they wrote it and then shot it and then edited it. I think, honestly, my honest opinion is I think that Fox is open to renewal. I think it's going to depend on their pilot slate. I think they're open. The ratings are decent enough that they're saying, okay, we could see doing another season of this and it's worth it to, like, for financial reasons, it's worth it. There's enough viewers, but if they have a good fantasy pilot that they like that sort of treads the same grounds, they might push Sleepy Hollow out, and they're waiting to see how their slate develops.
I think there's potential for a 3rd season. I don't believe that it's completely closed doors. I feel like because of the writing and the writers, when they started writing the scripts based on the fan response, I think they were treading their heels thinking that this is the end. And I think they went out with a good finale for a series, but they also left it open. Because, I'm sorry, but humans don't die like that. If a human gets stabbed, you do not turn into cinder and melt away and then see somebody else who turned into cinder and melt away as an invisible person. I think if we're going to go into season 3, Henry and Katrina are still around. And I don't think...
they definitely have that option because, I mean, well, first of all, they're clearly witches. I mean, they're witches, which I think they've established is, like, puts them on a different plane. And we've already seen the show play with mortality. How many times did Andy come back to hang out? Not enough, I say. Not enough.
With breakneck speed.
But, I mean, the Katrina was trapped in purgatory. There's no reason that she couldn't come back. I was disappointed to see her die, personally. Not because, like, I wanted her to come back and be good or anything like that. I wanted her to stick around as evil Katrina. She was the most compelling she's been all season for those last 2 episodes. When she was active, she was going after something. She wanted to kill Ichabod. That's a dark storyline. That's a fun storyline.
My favorite Katrina moment all season long, was in last night's episode when she's with the guy, that commander guy for the U.S. Army.
Yeah, Sutton.
For the army.
Sutton.
Yeah, Sutton.
The colonel.
the Colonel, she does that whole kind of like questioning him thing, and then just cold-bloodedly kills him. And I'm like, that's the coolest thing Katrina has done.
It was epic. That was a great scene.
Season. It was so epic. It's like you just spent the time to like fix him up, and then you were like, I got what I wanted. Now you die.
It's like a puzzle. You put it together, and then you're like, all right, back in the box.
And I think for my part, I was sad to see Katrina go, not because I wasn't annoyed with Katrina all season, because we know I was, but because I like a good cliffhanger. And I think that's the only thing I was missing.
Katrina is a Hellfire shard. There's your cliffhanger right there. Katrina goes to purgatory as a spirit as opposed to just a human, and she becomes Moloch.
You know what I was thinking, though?
And then Moloch tries to enter the world to start the apocalypse. Oh, crap, we're back to the original.
As Obi-Wan Henry Jeremy was, like, waving at Katrina, like, come here, Mom.
That was such a weird
Obi-Wan
moment.
Henry. That's why I think he's still around.
Oh, he's definitely still around. And he was, the whole time I'm watching that piece, I was just like, he's welcoming her to Purgatory Prom. That's what's happening. And I was so happy.
Wait, is Henry's
the chaperone?
That sad? He took his mom to prom.
You know what?
Damn right he did.
I would have really loved this
She needed
scene.
a night out.
And I guess it would have been a little too predictable, but what I was really hoping from this scene was that she would see Jeremy and she'd be like, Jeremy, and then his smile would go to a frown and his like eyes would turn white and her eyes would turn white, and then she'd just ring the bell. Like, that's what I wanted, was she would see Jeremy in her dying breaths and then just go full on blood warlock. Because what's a little stab gonna do when you're like already draining half your blood to use magic? That's my question.
I mean, she got stabbed in her vital organs. Like, it's not like she cuts her hand open for the blood magic. This is not gonna heal. Because she even says, like, when Henry gets shot, she can't fix that. And I guess that's because it was Greek fire or whatever. But there are certain wounds that even a powerful witch can't heal. And they establish that.
Yeah.
I still want to know, this was the lingering question that Lindy, I guess, like, couldn't answer contractually, but I mean, it seems to me like Grace Dixon is a witch. From this last episode, I was like, Grace Dixon can make magic out of nothing and better than Katrina and faster.
She does voodoo. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
They distinguished that in American Horror Story Season 3.
Yeah, this is not American Horror Story Season 3.
There's
and this is not New Orleans.
Yeah, there's no hint that she has a Cajun background. It's an interesting thing that they haven't really clarified, because there was Abby did a spell technically when she was helping out Katrina.
Yeah.
Like, she read a spell. So at that point, can anyone use magic, or that's what the question is? Can anyone use magic if they just have the incantation right?
Right.
Ask Bruce Campbell. Klaatu Verada Nicole.
This is what always bothered me. Sorry, this is going to be a little bit of a rant, but always bothered me in like the worlds of like Harry Potter and like all that stuff. It's like, if putting these things into a pot and like boiling them for like an exact amount of time makes a potion, why couldn't a muggle make a potion?
No, because you have to wave your wand above the potion at the end to do an incantation.
You know,
there is always a wand involved.
This is terrible that I'm saying this as a side note, but there is somebody who put a meme online that was the reason that Harry's adoptive family was so angry and mean to him was because he was a Horcrux and it was turning them angry and mean. Anyway.
What does that have to do with Henry?
You mentioned Harry Potter. Anyway, so guys, I want to talk about iTunes really briefly, and then we're going to go into the episode, because we could talk about how much we would have loved the finale to go different ways all night. And let me just put that out there. I enjoyed it. I thought it ended well.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there was anything wrong with the finale. If this was a series finale, I can walk away from this series saying, hey, I got on average, pretty good I got a pretty good series out of 2 seasons. I can say that without flinching, without lying or anything. That's more than I can say for Dexter. So I think I'm happy with what it is. I would like a season 3 if they keep the story to what it is now. And I really want more 3-4 arc stories with the same overarching villain. That's what I would really want. But in iTunes, guys, what really helps us out, I mentioned it earlier, go to iTunes, rate us 5 stars, leave us a comment. Our recent, today is February 24th, so I'll go back to the 17th. Not the 17th century like they are, but no, I'm just kidding. So, Cop Out. Carly P says, great podcast. I even started rewatching old episodes just to see how far close you were with your predictions. Just wondering, am I the only one who thought the fact that this was a bit of a cop-out to have them involve time travel and not change anything, especially after all the type of game-changer ending? It just seemed like a risk they should have taken. It would have given them a chance to completely retcon this mess of a season. I agree. I think if they do get a season 3, we're going to find that Katrina found a way to change something in the future from the past before doing that, because she was there for the same length as Abby, and it feels like Abby did so much more than Katrina just attempting to do one spell to get into the barrier and that.
I do feel when you put time travel on the table, it is always an option. I feel like they didn't kill completely, like with complete finality, didn't kill Katrina off or didn't kill all these other characters off because they want to have everything in play if they can have it in play.
Yeah, my only real complaint about this episode, if I had one, was just it felt too neat at the end.
Yeah.
With the time travel, we go back and there's all kinds of stuff. Ben Franklin dies. Ichabod doesn't get killed when he's supposed to. That stuff needs to have repercussions in the future. Even if you can fix parts of it, like you could put Ichabod and the Horsemen in a fight and then have him buried slightly differently, and that little difference affects who knows what in the future. Maybe you come back and the bell got rung.
I mean, maybe you come back and Jenny's still in the asylum. Maybe you come back and Frank is back at the police station and Reyes is not there anymore.
And you're wondering now, which Frank is this?
But now you have two characters. I mean, maybe you send Ichabod and Abby back at the same time. So now you have the same time, the same characters. But now Ichabod is the past Ichabod re-experiencing the future. Abby is there, and and nobody knows who she is because she herself went to Quantico. Like, I mean, I think there's a lot of places to go. Anyway, binge watching by Crystal Hummingbird. I just discovered you guys, and I'm binge watching on YouTube. Even though I have loads to do, you guys are so addicting. I'm stoked the show's getting better because I love seeing your enthusiasm. Hopefully the show will get renewed, and I can watch more of you guys. Love, hashtag Ickaby5Eva. Sorry, Ickaby, I'm totally a fan of Fran Janicki Merlving, and I'm always going to fight for them. And I am going to shout out you guys on Twitter who actually did what I asked. Destiny_Morna. Thank you for doing it. And that's it. I'll give a shout out to J-Corp too for tweeting us. But guys, if you want a shout out, go ahead and tweet out this link and say to join us live with hashtag ABTV Sleepy Hollow. Right? Is that what I'm doing? Yeah, AB. What am I even searching for? Anyway, so let's get into the episode. We get an opening with a pretty epic scene. ABTV Sleepy Hollow is the hashtag, yeah. We get a pretty freaking epic scene. I loved it. With back in time, we get the muskets. Ichabod's going full on, killing mofos, shooting people like they nub work, no-scoping some guys. Dude, man, he pwned all those noobs with his musket and gunpowder.
Yes, he did.
That was some pwnzers. And after the battle, he's still looking for the man with the bow on his hand because he's looking for Hessians. And he gets called away for Abby, and they're like, Abby, she knows about the man with the bow in his hand. You should go see him. And he's like, yeah, let's go.
I am not sure what that was an imitation
Just the messenger.
I think that is, yes, what happened. I don't know what that voice was, but it sounded accurate.
Yeah. So, we get this scene with Abby and Ichabod, Pastabod and Abby, and future Abby, so Phoebe. Pastabod and Phoebe. I'm shipping Phoebe.
Phoebe.
So Pastabod and Phoebe are now in the jail cell. She's talking to him. She's trying to convince him, and literally nothing she says is really having the desired effect until she finally mentions the witches, Benjamin Franklin, and what was the one thing she said that really intrigued him? Was it about? It was about the Hessians and how his mission and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she knew about his mission.
I love that moment though, because when she says that to trigger him, Tom Mison, he does this role so well, and he does this kind of like half smile and just like jauntily turns around. I love there was an article I read, again, IO9 article. I love those reviews of Sleepy Hollow. But they were talking about how Tom Mison plays this great difference between past Ichabod interacting with
Future Abby.
Future Abby versus Ichabod in the future reacting with future Abby, because the setting is different. So when he encounters things like an iPhone in this setting, it's even more alien than encountering it in a different setting. And encountering future Abby in this setting is a lot more alien than like actually being just in a different world.
Yeah. Well, he's got to it's different when he knows he's been transported to the future,
right.
And now he has this lens of,
right.
Okay, everything is weird here, but in this world, everything is normal, but there's like two things that are wrong.
Yes.
Like, why is this woman in trousers?
Yes.
And she's clearly dressed like a foreigner.
She has a New York accent. I think she's a British spy.
Yes.
Let's send her to the slave
Yeah,
encampment.
a bit of upstate New York hidden in there.
Oh, man. So he gets her out, and the guy's not happy. Colonel Sutton is not
Colonel
happy.
Woozy Face.
Yeah, Colonel Woozy Face basically tells him he has to take her to the encampment, and he's obeying a direct order, and he's really got some animosity towards Ichabod, probably because of him being a captain based on his Oxford degree and all that stuff. So it feels like there's a lot of animosity towards Ichabod because he's not really so much gone up the ranks as a soldier, but because of his education.
Yeah, well, he also came to this late. I mean, they re-mentioned that it was Katrina who brought him to this war instead of, like, him originally coming over and being like, yeah, America. He was late to the game. So it's like, not only is he predominantly an intellectual, not a war guy, but yeah, he's not one of the original champions of America.
So she convinces him to take him to Franklin, who's just back from France.
Yeah,
and
we're getting a question in the chat roll. Portia Reynolds asks, "Can we talk about the sexual tension in the carriage while they're on their?" I don't know what that is. Did you guys think there was
Holstron carriage? I didn't think it's sexual tension. I'm sorry.
I feel that between them there's always chemistry. So it's no matter what scenes they're in a carriage, in a jail, wherever, you're always going to feel that they have chemistry because they do.
I mean, they have good friend chemistry. I mean, I know that this is where Jackie and I are on just two separate sides here. I think they are the best of friends forever, BFFs, but nothing more.
Hey, Josh, can you tell everyone out there to be a little bit quieter? I can hear every word.
I actually think you can see more of their chemistry in that selfie video where they're kind of like, they have this cute little banter going back and forth where he's like trying to figure it out and she's trying to help him from over his shoulder. To me, that was a true, like, it could be moment where you see their kind of.
But I guess my point is, like, let's say, for the sake of argument, I'm not saying she is. But so for the sake of this argument, let's say that Abby was interested in ladies and not in men. They would have the same banter because they just connect as friends. It's not a sexual thing at all. I don't think it's a relationship.
So when you
RIP,
connect with people as friends, do you put their birthday as the password on your phone?
You know what? I will grant you that one. I forgot about that for a minute. That was an interesting, unless it is specifically for these kinds of purposes, because it is a fact that nobody else would have because his date of birth is not on record anywhere.
But that's her phone. Like,
that's what I mean. But
phone.
if it's locked, but if he's her partner, like a cop, her partner, if she ever needs him to get into her phone, he's the only one that would have that code.
If I was just a like cop partner, like solely like this person is my work partner, I still wouldn't give them the password to my phone. My boss doesn't have the password to my computer.
But that's what I mean, like, she doesn't normally give it to him, but in this circumstance, she's like, okay, partner, you need to get into my phone. This can't be a password that anybody else can figure out.
So you think Abby predicted that she was going to go back in time? She programmed
Not back
her
in
phone.
time, but a circumstance where she can't access her phone, but she needs him to?
Okay,
No.
This is
not related to that.
she couldn't have used the fact that she had an ID with 2015 or whatever the time is on it. She had a wallet that had cards with expiration dates. Like, that was the other thing. She goes to she makes him look at her phone directly when she had we saw in the box, she had other ways of showing him that she was from the future.
Yeah. I think she went to the phone for the birthday and for the picture, because it's really easy to see yourself with somebody when you're actually literally seeing yourself with somebody.
In a moving picture.
Yeah, and the credit cards just say like 0315. It could have been 17.
We don't have enough time. We got to move on. All right, so
all those credit cards in
God
1715.
Now I know how Matt Lieberman felt. Okay, so moving on to Benjamin Franklin's house. Benjamin Franklin's just excited because he immediately believes Abby, and he's just like, what about newspapers, bifolders, swim fins?
Okay, can we talk about how Benjamin Franklin is excited a little bit before that when he sees Abby, and he's like, lovely lady. And then he's like, oh yeah, I can't hit on this girl.
Frankabee. Shipping Frankabee. All right.
Was anyone else disappointed that Franklin wasn't naked?
A little bit.
I'm disappointed in Franklin's wig. It was haphazard on this
It was very Crypt Keeper. Anyway, getting back to it, he is talking to Abby. She's telling him all about the future and all about what's going on in this situation. And he's like, a witch. And he notices that she's not saying the name. So he basically makes Ichabod go get a thesaurus from upstairs in his study. Like, I need a synonym. Go get the thesaurus, Ichabod. And she tells him that it is Katrina. And he's like, crap. Because he's already dealing with all these impossibilities, being the girl from the future, that kind of stuff. And this is Ichabod before he's really been introduced to all the magic and things like that. So he's seen impossible things, but he's not too privy to them now. Now it's really just, hey, your wife is a witch and she wants to kill you. And that's about the time old Jack Webb walked in. No, that's about the time.
Well, Franklin, I do want to say that Franklin, as an inventor, he's prone to believing the impossible thing, aside from the whole, fact that we know that he's in Sleepy Hollow land. He's in on the whole apocalypse thing. So I think he was the perfect person to go to because he he's an inventor.
But you got to go to any of those founding fathers that you could, because now we know that they all know all this is going on.
When she said Jefferson, did you picture though, she could go get the books, stop and get the books.
Finistella's coming back. Finistella's coming back.
For all we know, that hologram's already in the process of being built.
Right?
Yeah, right.
She could just go turn it on and be like, see, hologram Jefferson agrees with me.
There was a great moment when he's like, yes, or she's like, yeah, you're on the $100 bill. What about Jefferson?
Oh, that was
What about
great.
Jefferson? He's on the $2 bill. Oh, seems cumbersome. I doubt they use it very often.
That was the best.
Gotta love
awesome.
it. So that's about the time. Headless. You hear thunder and then horse hooves because
Wait, we're skipping the fact that he called Abby the American Dream. I mean,
that was a big moment.
Okay.
I feel like that was a big moment.
Because not just for it was a great moment in the show, but it was also a reminder of who is the central focus of this show.
True.
Yeah.
It's not Katrina and Ichabod's broken marriage.
It's Abby.
It's we're the witness. Oh, it's a technical term. Oh, that comes with Grace, not Benjamin. Anyway,
we saw Frankenstein. Nod to Frankenstein. We know where he's sort of at.
You know what? This almost makes me upset more than it makes me happy.
Why was he not in the present?
Yeah, because it means that the writers didn't just completely forget about him. They remember that he exists, and they still won't give him to us.
Season 3 prediction. Because Benjamin Franklin was decapitated and it was cauterized immediately, they're going to take his head and put it on Frankenstein and revive Frankenstein.
But they fixed everything in the past, so
Franklin's
he's not for
okay.
real dead.
We don't know that.
There was a post office in the future.
So they get out of there, and Ichabod says he has one place to go first, so he goes to Katrina's, right? Because they arrest Abby again.
Yes.
And this is when Colonel Sutton is like, Ichabod, you're dismissed.
Wait, but we just skipped over the fact that Ben Franklin was murdered.
Oh, I thought we mentioned that. I just said that. Anyway, Ben Franklin gets an axe thrown at him, and he doesn't dodge very well.
I actually thought that was awesome, because to me that was one of the most Sleepy Hollow moments of Sleepy Hollow. I was like, they went there.
They chopped off a founding father's head.
Yeah, they killed Ben Franklin, you guys. You guys. Ben Franklin got his head chopped off.
Yes.
He did.
This is that kind of show.
By the headed horseman.
God, Ben Franklin would have lost his head if he had seen this episode. Yeah. But, no, like, he gets a grenade, and then he does not know how to dodge a wrench, nor a ball, nor a freaking axe being thrown at him. He did not dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. He just died. It's a lot of D's. The Franklin D, not Roosevelt. Anyway, so moving on, they arrest Abby, and they're taking this as the biggest hit because they just lost that battle, and now they just lost one of the main negotiating and main political forces of the war. So everyone's really super peeved off. I don't know why. Just kidding, I do know why. And Ichabod decides to go say hello to Katrina. And Katrina's there, and she's kind of surprised to see him because she heard he was with Abby. And he's like, oh, this crazed woman should be put in an asylum. What are you making here? Oh, it looks like you have berries and things like that.
It looks like you have berry juice. Are you writing a letter?
Are you preggers? No, Ichabod, I'm not preggers. That'd be far too interesting for you. She's not preggers, she says. She says for the neighbors, and then he notices the book. Das Buch on der Tisch.
The Grand Grimoire.
Because that's not something you really walk into your wife reading all the time.
And she tries to magically stab him in the back.
Yeah, she's straight up hovering a knife right behind him.
Hey, at least she's being upfront about it, like unlike most women.
Nope. That was towards his back. It was not to his front.
Yeah. And then the soldiers bang on the door, and they're like, yo, get out here. We're going.
Because George Washington.
George Washington.
They're like, Washington is very insistent, and he's like, just ride ahead. I'll catch up in a bit. They don't send someone with him. Or...
Got somewhere to go real quick.
Bye.
Rushes to Abby. Before checking on Abby, he decides to look at the black box, and he finally figures out to do it, and it says slide to open.
That was one of the best moments. Sliding the iPhone over. That was great.
I loved, this was just, you guess it's more fun, like, it again, there's no Abby to tell him, like, no, it's a touch screen.
Right,
and then he could put it
together.
He's sliding it, and then he's just, because in our heads, it's like, push the button, turn the screen on. He's just like,
bring it back now, y'all. Slide to the left.
I do. That was creative writing to me because you have to think, okay, if I was in the 1700s and I tried to figure out modern technology and like these things were here, what would I do? How would I figure it out? And we know Ichabod is smart, but we know he doesn't entirely know what he's interacting with. And so I thought that was some really clever writing, and I had a lot of fun with it.
So moving on, Sutton, meanwhile, is taking a shillelagh and trying to beat up Abby for her role in killing Benjamin Franklin.
Was he gonna just beat her up, or was the implication? Was I wrong in the thought that the implication was?
There was some rape-lications. There were some rape-lications.
He was taking off his jacket and everything. Yeah. I thought that was what he was.
That could also be construed as not wanting blood on his uniform and things like that. But there were some rape-lications here. I also like that Ichabod throughout the future has like all this beat up like 200-year-old clothing, and now it's like all fresh and like really nice, but it's the same outfit basically. Right. So Ichabod finds out how to use the devil magic phone device and goes to photos, and apparently Abby likes to keep professional set staff photos of all the cast members on her photo roll. Randomly photo of Frank Irving looking to the side. Random photo of
Abby likes
Tom
to
Mison.
have professional photos of her friends. Don't you, Steve? Yes.
Yes, I do. Look at my Instagram, and you'll see a lot of them. And he finds the photo of Ichabod, of himself, and Abby's in the background talking. And they're trying to take a selfie, but it's a moving selfie, and he can't figure out how to do it. And Ichabod's like, my God, I look good. Oh, and Abby's there. Oh, okay, great. That means that she's telling the truth all along. So he decides to take another 10 minutes looking at the phone before he decides to go and try to save her.
I mean, I loved the little like conversation within the phone. Like we managed to get a quick little scene of normal our Ichabod, like still trying to figure it out.
Right. That was a great scene. And I mean, he didn't know that Abby had to be saved. He just knew that like he had to get her out of jail. He didn't know that she was going to be attacked. And that was another awesome moment when he gets really close to her and she says, there have been great movements, strides in like hand-to-hand combat, and then just basically disarms him and beats the crap out of him.
And shoves his face into a metal bar.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
I mean, she uses some like karate and
Yes.
judo. She just like takes him down.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Colonel
was
Sutton
awesome.
got Colonel Sanders punched. I don't know. That didn't make any sense at all.
And then the guy gets killed later on in the episode.
Well, we'll talk about that. So, moving on. They're on their way to Frederick's Manor, which they were going to go with Benjamin, but he lost his head along the way. So we cut over to Katrina, and Katrina is nursing the doctor back to health or nursing Colonel back to health because apparently between the time they can get to Frederick's Manor, the Colonel can wake up from his being knocked out, get all the way back to the battlefield, and be in a medical tent instead of going to the hospital in town and being healed by Katrina, in which she takes some of Abby's blood out of the thing that she cut herself while she was pulling the nail out to try to pick-lock the door. And she immediately knows where Abby is because that would have been useful a season and a half ago.
Well, it's blood magic.
It's blood magic.
She's only just embraced. It's a dark form of magic, so she's only just taking it. And I think it's reasonable that Sutton goes right back to the battlefield because we know that Ichabod's not found he was found on that battlefield, and that was just outside Sleepy Hollow.
So I loved this scene because he's like, "How did you do that? How could you know? How could you be privy to that information?" Well, because I'm a witch. Balls in a vice, crushes the ball so hard that he bleeds out his eyeballs.
That was the most awesome Katrina moment ever. I was like, this is the first time in my life I actually wanted to see more of
She's so
Katrina.
interesting and terribly evil and great, and then let's kill her.
She had like a sense of humor in that moment, like a dark, twisted sense of humor. But she's like, "I'm a witch, death." Like that's
it's okay. Yeah. She's just waiting for us all at Purgatory Prom.
She went all in, and I liked it, and that's why I'm glad that I don't think she's dead, and I don't think that Jeremy's dead. I don't think he's dead. I don't think people turn into ghosts, Obi-Wan shadow things or whatever.
No,
Obi-Wan came back.
And humans don't turn into cinder when they die.
Again, the implication by showing his ghost, I mean, you could argue that it was just like something in her, like, subconscious, like she was seeing what she wanted to see. Mm-hmm. But especially with the dissolving, I think it's the setup is clear that they have a way back, at least to influence the world, if not
they
into
have a
it.
way back if the fans have decided to throw Katrina a bone and like her to bring her back.
Plus, you can't get rid of John Noble. He's just too.
You can't get rid of John Noble's sad face. You can't get rid of it.
You cannot.
It's the saddest sad face
ever.
It
is the saddest sad face. So moving on to Frederick's Manor, Grace meets Abby, and it's a very awkward meeting until Abby's like, "I'm Grace Abigail Mills."
I love that actress who plays Grace Dixon. She plays it so well because when Abby comes in, you have that moment of, does she understand what's going on or doesn't she? And that actress walks that line very finely until you realize she did. She kind of figured it out that before Abby even said, "Oh, I'm your ancestor," like she knew. And I liked how I tweeted the actress's thing on Twitter. I retweeted her link, and I forget her name right now, and I'm so sorry. But you guys should follow her on Twitter because she's awesome.
I'm gonna give a few more shout outs here. Shout out to Eric Olin, to Gigi Rose 21TT, Felsi, and Ryan Witalison for tweeting out the link. We love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. We got up to 100 people watching live, which is great. Excited. Hashtag Stay Dead Katrina by Destiny Morna, and hashtag Katrina Dead Forever by DJ Gamera. Somebody asked if we had any insider knowledge that general public would not know. Not really. If you missed our interview with Lindy last week, she dropped some hints, but that's about it.
I mean, she made it pretty clear, and talking to her off screen as well, it was pretty clear she doesn't know. Like, I don't think Fox knows. I don't think they've made a decision yet.
I don't think they've made a decision.
That's why I was saying earlier about pilot season, because a lot of times shows that are on the bubble like this, that like, they could take it, they could not. It depends on what else they might have. I haven't had a chance to look at Fox's pilot slate. I'm going to check it out in the next week or so, and then I'll tweet about it, see what sounds like it might be similar, but
You know what you can do for us, though, guys? You can take a second, look at that YouTube page, and hit that thumbs up. If you're watching us, just hit that thumbs up. It makes us searchable, helps us out a lot.
I would also like to comment to the people. There's like 2 or 3 people who always do a thumbs down. You know what? At least you've watched every single one of our videos enough to do a thumbs down.
You know, they actually only do that for you, Jackie.
I know. It's a thumbs down just for me.
We get a thumbs down every time you mention Buffy. So we have at least 3 on this show now, I think.
Maybe it's because of my, like, anti-ICHABOD ranting.
I'm Frangenicky Merlving all the way.
I think that's a good ship too.
I'm Pafabby all the way.
It's a good ship,
really,
lollipop.
The 3. There's 1 for each of us.
I like Pafabby though.
Past Ichabod, future Abby.
Future Abby.
Pafabby.
Pafabby. Guys,
we're a good team.
Let's trend some Pafabby. So moving on, we get the showdown. They knock out the barrier. Ichabod has this gigantic fight with Headless, just like old times.
But they didn't bring back Neil Jackson.
And then, I know, it would have been great to get him back. And then, right as she's saying the words and things like that, by the way, she can't be out there helping him. She has to be near the book. They're doing this.
Can we just comment about how Grace Dixon can do magic much quicker than
Katrina.
For a long time Katrina could do magic?
Yes.
Grace, and also somebody else pointed this out, how it took like Solomon all these years to like put the pieces together to get the grimoire together just to make the time travel spell, and Grace Dixon was like, yeah, I know that spell.
Yeah, I know how to reverse it. It's pretty easy.
She basically, like, Abby walked in and Grace Dixon dropped the mic.
Pretty much. And Katrina already knows what they're trying to do. They're trying to. It felt a little easy. It did feel a little bit easy, but they couldn't end it on a cliffhanger, of course, because we would never know.
They could have just left. Basically, I just wanted more consequences from this whole episode. We came out the other side. Yes, Katrina's dead, but that wasn't because of the goings on of this episode. It would have happened either way, more or less.
Abby, they finish it right before Ichabod gets his head chopped off. Personally, I really wish they chopped his head off. I would have loved to have seen Abby see Ichabod get his head chopped off and then transfer into the future and then immediately see him.
I think that, actually, I agree with you, because when I saw that happen, I was thinking, what if they kill past Ichabod just at the right moment and she comes back and she has all those emotions like, oh my gosh, you're still alive, you're still here.
Yeah, I think that would have milked a really great performance out of Nicole Beharie.
Yeah.
I don't know why the name escaped me. Love Nicole, she's great. I think that would have been a great scene for her, and I think it would have been an interesting scene for Katrina as well, for Katia, because she would have just seen the person she's trying to get killed, and then she'd be back and she'd be like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I think that would have been great and would have thrown her off.
We do have to talk about the hug. Despite as much as it might counter my points earlier, we do have to talk about it. I know Jackie wants to talk about
#awkward
it.
hug, DJ Gamera says.
But I think, you know, as much as I want to say that's an entirely, it could be shipper hug, I think that there was just a point in general that that's what they do. Like their set of friends, the Fab Four, as I like to call them, that we see at the end, are so close that they are in hug closeness.
That's what they do.
It's what they do. They hug it out. I like that. I like
now hug it out. Hug it out. Now hug it out. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody in the chat just said this finale was to reset and undo all of the cringeworthy Crane family drama. It didn't undo anything, though. Literally, everything's back to how it was before last episode, except now Jeremy's dead and Katrina's dead.
Well, Tom Mison, in an interview recently, said that if they bring it back, this is the reboot. I mean, it's basically trying to put Sleepy Hollow at a place almost like at the end of season 1 where we can...
Even before that, it basically resets us to like season 1, episode like 8.
Yeah.
Like whatever before we got the Henry Parrish reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's not there. Katrina's not there. The only difference is that instead of Frank running the department, he's just this Deadpool guy with a sword on his back.
We have so many other horsemen, though. Like, we have 2 other horsemen that we've never seen before.
Just missing. I know.
So many,
I'm waiting for the horsemen.
Yeah, I want the horsemen. I want a season 3. You know, deciding on it. Like we've talked about most of the episode. basically, Katrina's using the grimoire to kill Abby, and then Katrina grabs the grimoire, throws it away, and then she grabs a knife, tries to stab him. He thrusts it, and it stabs her. She dies in his arms.
I actually would argue that that was an accident. I think
No,
that,
it was an accident, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't think there was any intention.
Yeah, I don't
to
think
kill
he
her.
intentionally killed her. Which is why
Hashtag Katrina
he was,
is Beth. And if you get that joke, I'm not going to tell you how to get that joke because
which
it
is
might
why
spoil.
he was sad. But you noticed he was like sad for a while. I was like, bye Katrina, and then he was like, okay guys, let's move on.
I mean, she did try to kill him.
yeah,
Like,
true.
she went back in time to try and kill him.
Yes, it's true.
It's pretty much Terminator.
Not that I was
Except she
sad.
wasn't
Katrina.
naked. She wasn't naked when she got to the past.
Not that I was sad over his lack of sads for Katrina. I just thought it was hilarious because they were basically like, okay, you get to be sad for her for like 3 minutes and then you just don't care and just move on with your life.
Yeah.
So
It's
anyway,
like, yeah,
she
that's
burns
pretty much
away
it.
into Ember, which is not how humans die, which I'll say for like the 8th time.
We know, Steve.
And she sees Jeremy before she dies, and I really think that they're alive in purgatory because she's a Hellfire shard, and they have the bloodline. Maybe that's just how witches die. Maybe that's
We
what they're trying
could
to say.
still get, or maybe it's because they're both horsemen.
Or maybe it's because they're blood magic, because I think we saw once he broke the neck of Emo Raiden, he turned into dust too. So maybe it's just blood magic
Yeah.
wizards die that way.
I still think, just like on that, like what I was saying with the horsemen, I still think there's a way, and it would be a great reveal if we get a season 3 at like our midway point, is we get like the 4 horsemen like appearing, and then they unmask, and it's Katrina and Henry and
Andy.
Well, and the headless doesn't unmask, but
Why is that one horseman's head upside down? Oh, that's Andy.
They turn him around. They're like, "You stand here."
But you can
Andy."
still get a great reveal of Katrina as the horseman if they ride in with like a mask. It'd be a great moment.
I
There was-
would love to see a woman horseman. I
So-
would love to see that.
So essentially, Ichabod kills his entire family in the last 2 episodes of
Right.
season 2.
Right.
And then he just takes a look back for nostalgia because he already has his photogenic memory, so he'll always remember the images of shooting his son and stabbing his wife, which is very, very Shakespearean. The
Yes.
scene when she died was super Shakespearean.
Yes.
And we're running out of time here, so I think...
I do have an interesting thought I had about writing, because we know they had to do tons of rewrites to get the fans on board. Who thinks that they actually didn't intend for Katrina to be bad? They intended for it to be a Solomon Kent plotline where they kept the Solomon Kent character. He's the one who travels back in time to kill Ichabod and back, and they kill him and deal with it at the end of the season. I think they actually just replaced Katrina with the Solomon Kent character.
Maybe. I don't know. I think it
That's
makes
my
more
thought.
sense for Katrina.
That's my thought.
I like it as Katrina. It
No,
just,
I do.
It,
I'm
it
just
felt
saying-
so motivated and like insane in the best way.
Hey Josh, cue up the Downton Abbey theme song really quick.
Oh,
we'll be
yeah.
done in 4 minutes. We're gonna go out on that because it might be the last episode. All right, 2 words. Season 3. Do you think they'll get it? And do you want it? Do you want them to get it?
I
So
want
2
it
answers.
so bad. I want it so bad.
I-
But for only 13 episodes.
There's two questions. Do you think they'll get it? Do you want them to get it?
I do think they'll get it. I do think that they'll get it. There's a lot of maybes.
I said
and,
2 words, Zach. Come on.
Okay. Yes, I think they'll get it.
Yes to both. I think it'll be 13 episodes, though, and I would prefer it that way.
Yeah, better get limited.
Agreed. I think it's the same. And I didn't mean to cut you off, Zach. If you have a thought, you can say it.
No, I mean, I have a lot of maybes and like if this then that scenarios that like play into whether it's going to come back. It is on the bubble. It is not a sure thing by any means. So you're like, just a reminder to the fans out there: your tweets, your reviews, and all of what you do over the next couple months about Sleepy Hollow, tweeting about it, tweeting at Fox about it, absolutely makes a difference. If you don't think they're paying attention to it, on another show that I cover here, Grimm, they're bringing a character back to the show. I won't say which in case you're spoilers and whatnot. They're bringing a character back to the show because of social media. They literally said, if her social media is good, we will bring her back.
I mean,
guys.
they did rewrites because of social media.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll that Downton Abbey theme, and we're going to run through this really quick, guys. We start our scene at the Hollow Homecoming. Jeremy has been waiting all night for his date to show up, and luckily, right at the last moment, bleeding from the chest it would seem, Katrina has shown up at Hollow Homecoming.
Jeremy says, "Come, be my date, mother, at Hollow Homecoming." Most scandalous.
Most scandalous
indeed.
You must come, mother, to meet my friends. I saw Henry Parr say that to her, and then take him to meet his two new friends, Andy and Matthew Lieberman. Most scandalous, as they were together on a date.
As I was stood up at Purgatory Prom, I made my way to the Hollow Homecoming just in time to see my date, Katrina, my wife, leaving with her son, my son, her father-aged son.
Most scandalous.
Scandalous.
I don't know where I
Stephen's
went.
story is most scandalous
And
because he
confusing.
did not think it through.
I saw Andy spike the punch bowl.
Most scandalous
scandalous.
indeed. Thank you guys for putting up with us
Yes.
for all season long.
Moloch was totally making out with Jenny, and Abby was totally making out with past Ichabod, because hashtag PaFabby forever. Guys, thank you for watching all 2 seasons of the Sleepy Hollow After Show here at AfterBuzz TV. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, go back. They're pretty funny. I mean, it's really fun.
Someone wrote the end of the season of a great podcast for a decent show on the chat roll, and I just had to say it because it made me laugh so much. Thank you guys.
We love you guys.
Let's get clearly. My coffee says hashtag father-aged son. I like that term. I'm down with father-aged son. Guys,
Like that Amy Zoster says, "Aw, they killed off Matt."
we did kill off
We did
Matt.
that, Matt. You didn't come back.
If there is not a season 3, be sure to follow all the other shows we do here at AfterBuzz. I do Better Call Saul and Helix. Zach does a bunch of things. Jackie's about to start RuPaul's Drag Race. You can find me on Twitter. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, StephenLemieux. Check out all our other shows. Again, go to iTunes, rate us, and check us out on SoundCloud, because SoundCloud's doing podcasts now, and AfterBuzz is one of the biggest providers on SoundCloud for podcasts right now. And subscribe. Where can we find you guys?
At 123Jackie_B on Twitter, at 123JackieB, all one word, on Instagram.
And you guys can follow me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, ThatzachWilson. Whole bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz. Grimm is coming back sometime in March. Agent Carter season finale later tonight, and starting next week, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is back. I'm so excited.
All right, guys, really quick. Shout out to Amy Gonzalez, Allie, who's Boo69Bs, One Lanavis, Rather Like Hearts, Cadet T Pink, T Nails, Frankie Rose, Clearly My Coffee, Ty Wee Harrison, Chish Sharda, Portia Reynolds, Born Guy, Destiny Morna, Melissa Stewart, Teresa Wagner, everybody in the chat roll. Haley Millie, thank you so much. Kalia Hartman for tuning in, watching live. Anthony Pereira, you guys are the best. You guys are what keep us going, keep us doing shows here. Hopefully we'll see you next year for Season 3 of Sleepy Hollow. Until then, good night, sleepyheads.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Good night, sleepyhead.
Hit that thumbs up right now!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.